Hello, and welcome to The Heavens Have Spoken. Today we will speak about music. Music. Music acts like a form of hypnosis, drawing listeners into a trance-like experience through its repetitive rhythms, calming melodies, and immersive sounds. This creates a captivating atmosphere that promotes deep relaxation, often placing the mind in a space between wakefulness and sleep, where it becomes more open to suggestions. The hypnotic effects of music are largely due to its ability to influence brainwaves, utilizing consistent patterns that establish a soothing, steady rhythm.
Most music today is tuned to 440 Hz. So what happened? In 1936, the American Standards Association adopted 440 Hz as the standard pitch. This was followed by an international conference in London in 1939. The standard was ratified by the International Organization for Standardization in 1955. Some say it was for convenience. Others believe it was to detract from the calming effects of 432 Hz. 432 Hz is often described as more natural and harmonious, while 440 Hz is seen as brighter and more consistent. 432 Hz creates calm, clarity, and emotional balance. It stimulates the heart instead of the brain, producing a more emotional, soulful experience. Meanwhile, 440 Hz is believed to induce stress, anxiety, and tension.
Here we have the 9 solfeggio frequencies on the right. On the left side we have 430 Hz, 432 Hz, and in the top we have the Schumann resonance. The Schumann resonance, also known as the heartbeat of the earth, is believed to have positive effects on human health and well-being. Now that we can view them all at once, it's pretty obvious to see which of them shouldn't be there, right? First of all, 440 is the only one that has a complete lack of symmetry. Additionally, they all feature either 3, 6 or 9 at the bottom, except for 440. Finally, 440 stands alone, being the only one that doesn't have the number 9 in its center.
The dangers of music. Music has the potential to evoke negative emotions, and when individuals focus on these feelings, it can lead to issues like depression and anxiety. While music serves as a powerful means of self-expression and emotional management, listening to sad songs can sometimes trigger repetitive negative thoughts, leading to a decline in mood. Research indicates that people often experience emotional distress when they choose to listen to music they identify as sad, especially during tough times. This can backfire, as the intention of seeking comfort may instead amplify their symptoms, resulting in unhealthy behaviors. Additionally, it's crucial to recognize how peer influences and musical preferences can impact self-harm or aggressive behaviors.
A Japanese study from 2018 looked into its effects on the nervous and endocrine systems. They tested 9 healthy adults using 528 Hz music on one day and generic 440 Hz on another. They measured stress hormones like cortisol and oxytocin, both before and after. The results? 528 Hz significantly reduced anxiety, tension, and mood disturbance, even after just 5 minutes of listening. The researchers concluded that music's effects on the body depend on the specific frequency, and that 528 Hz has a particularly strong calming effect compared to other sounds.
Nikola Tesla said, if you want to find the secret of the universe, you need to think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Our brain pulsates with electromagnetic energy affected by our emotions, our health, and our general state of well-being. If an energetic force is struck at the same resonant frequency as another object in a vicinity, the vibrations will cause the second object to begin vibrating. In terms of how you experience the world, the energy and vibration you give off is met and reflected back. We can feel this on an emotional level when we say that somebody's on our wavelength or we feel in tune with a personal situation. Why is this important? Well, if your internal vibration is one of anxiety, depression, anger, The life experience that you have may very well provide you with people and situations that reflect this back at you, thereby reinforcing the feeling and so creating a circuitous negative experience of life. What is clear from modern research, sound can at the very least affect matter. In the 18th century, Ernest Chladni put sand onto a glass plate and vibrated it with a violin. The sand was pulled into creative and beautiful symmetric patterns. This work has been continued with the invention of the cymoscope by John Reed, who uses water as a surface membrane in which to imprint sound and create a digital representation of sound and vibration. According to Gardner Snook of Manchester University, the difference between a healthy cell and a cancerous cell is like two very large orchestras all playing their instruments at the same time. But in the cancerous orchestra, the tuba is horribly out of tune. In the following two clips, you can hear the difference between the healthy pulsations of a yeast cell and the high-pitched frequency of one that is stressed. Notice the distortions as represented on the cymoscope of the one that is stressed. Through the latest experiments using microcymatics, it has been suggested that through the principle of entrainment, whereby a more powerful frequency causes a weaker frequency to synchronize with it, we can excite the membrane of a cell into coherent geometrical patterns.
How music can be used for control. Music has a powerful role in shaping emotions, behaviors, and perceptions, making it a tool for both positive influence and negative control. It can be used to manipulate it and instill fear, guilt, or suppress actions with jarring or aggressive noise. Throughout history, music has played a significant part in warfare, propaganda, and cultural assimilation, demonstrating its capacity to both unite and divide.
Today, we expose the hidden weapon they don't want you to know about. The vast majority of music you've heard, mainstream radio, movie soundtracks, most streaming platforms, commercial recordings, has been tuned to a frequency that creates anxiety rather than healing. Unless you've specifically sought out music tuned to natural frequencies or recordings by conscious artists who deliberately tune to nature's harmonics, you've been living in an artificial frequency environment. This isn't conspiracy theory. It's documented history with a precise date, 1939. The same year Nazi Germany was perfecting psychological warfare, a decision was made that would affect every human being on Earth for the next 85 years. They changed the frequency standard, and most people have never heard this story. Let me take you back to London, 1939, to a conference that changed human consciousness forever. Picture this. It's May 1939. Europe is on the brink of war, but in a conference room in London, delegates from major European countries and the United States are making a decision. Not about tanks or battleships, music. The International Conference on Musical Pitch brings together representatives from Britain, France, Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, and the United States. For centuries, different regions used slightly different tunings. France had officially adopted A equals 435 Hz back in 1859. Many classical musicians preferred frequencies around 432 Hz that created what they described as warmer, more resonant sounds. But the conference pushes for 440 Hz. The official reason given is international standardization for orchestral unity. Yet musicians at the time complained this new frequency felt more harsh and agitating compared to traditional tunings. Here's what makes this timing remarkable. 1939 is the same year psychological warfare research reaches unprecedented sophistication. The same year scientists begin understanding how specific frequencies can influence consciousness states. The same year frequency manipulation becomes recognized as a tool for mass influence. Coincidence? Let's examine the evidence. The decision is formalized. A equals 440 becomes the recommended global standard. By 1955, it's officially codified as ISO 16-1955. The International Organization for Standardization's musical pitch standard establishing A4 equals 440 Hz. The Acoustical Society of America had published scientific frequency tables in 1939 recommending A440, which were then formally adopted by ISO. The American Federation of Musicians adopts it. The BBC implements it. Within 2 decades, every radio station, recording studio, and instrument manufacturer worldwide follows suit. Here's what they didn't tell you. You've been living your entire life in an artificially standardized frequency field that prioritizes mechanical uniformity over natural resonance, and modern patents prove this wasn't accidental. Let me show you what we lost when they made that change. Walk into any ancient temple, Egyptian pyramids, Gothic cathedrals, Hindu temples, Buddhist monasteries. They were all designed around specific acoustic principles based on sacred geometric ratios that naturally create what we now measure as 432 Hz resonant frequencies. These ancient builders were consciousness technology engineers who understood the mathematical relationships between geometry and sound that modern plasma research has rediscovered. They didn't just build structures, they built living systems that actively enhanced human consciousness through precise geometric resonance. The Great Pyramid's dimensional mathematics, its height, base, and angles, create natural resonances at 432 Hz, as documented in current biogeometry research. This frequency emerges from the sacred geometric proportions. 432 equals sun radius in the cosmic mathematical framework, and 432 Hz represents the optimal consciousness-matter interface frequency. Ancient cultures knew that specific geometric ratios create frequencies that heal while others agitate. They built their sacred spaces using the mathematical proportions that generate healing frequencies, the same ratios documented in modern biogeometry and plasma research. They understood that geometric form creates sound, and harmonic frequency shapes consciousness. Then in 1939, a conference in London chose standardization over these natural geometric harmonics. Here's where we move from theory to documented fact. The United States Patent Office contains specific patents proving frequency can manipulate consciousness. U.S. Patent 6,506,148, nervous system manipulation by electromagnetic fields from monitors. Granted to Hendrikus Luce, documents how electromagnetic fields from screens can be pulsed at specific frequencies to cause physiological effects in humans, including manipulation of the nervous system. U.S. Patent 6,488,617, method and device for implementing the radio frequency hearing effect. Also by Hendrikus Luce, describes how pulsed electromagnetic fields in the 1 to 8 Hz range can manipulate the central nervous system and induce auditory sensations even without sound waves. U.S. Patent 3,951,134, apparatus and method for remotely monitoring and altering brainwaves. Filed by Robert Malik, documents technology for remotely monitoring and influencing human brainwaves using electromagnetic frequencies at 100, 110, and 210 MHz. These are official government patents confirming what ancient wisdom traditions always knew: frequency shapes consciousness. Now let's examine the physical evidence through cymatics, the study pioneered by Hans Jenny and advanced by researchers like John Stuart Reid using the CymaScope instrument. John Stuart Reid shares this experience while working with frequencies in the Great Pyramid.
I had the opportunity to lie in the sarcophagus in the King's Chamber. It's so quiet in there, you can hear the sound of your own breathing. It's so wonderfully reverberant. As a sound and acoustics engineer, I naturally wanted to know about the resonance of this granite box. What I did was I had a PVC membrane manufactured that would fit exactly across the top of the sarcophagus. I had a speaker positioned in the bottom of the sarcophagus. At certain frequencies, what looked like ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs start appearing. This one here, called the jet pillar, literally like a moving snake on the surface of the membrane. There's the cymatic Sa loop. Here's the cymatic sun god. Here is the cymatic eye. A whole series of these images appearing. And the antiquities inspector said, "How do you do that? How do you do that?" And I said, "I don't know, it's just happening."
When you expose water to different frequencies, the results are visually dramatic and scientifically repeatable. Cymatics research demonstrates that sound waves organize water into distinct geometric patterns, and the frequency determines the pattern type. Lower frequencies create flowing, harmonious designs. Higher frequencies produce more complex, angular structures. The difference is observable under laboratory conditions and documented in peer-reviewed cymatics research. Your body is 70% water. Think about what this means. Every time you listen to music tuned to different frequencies, you're creating these specific organizational patterns in the water that makes up most of your being. Here's where pattern recognition becomes crucial. The 1939 frequency standardization wasn't happening in a vacuum. The same year A equals 440 becomes the global standard, psychological warfare research reaches unparalleled levels. Scientists begin documenting how specific frequencies can alter consciousness states, influence emotional responses, and modify behavior patterns. Recent patent filings reveal the sophistication of this technology: devices that use sound waves to entrain brainwaves, systems that manipulate neural activity through acoustic frequencies, technology that can alter mental states without the subject's conscious awareness. This is documented, patented, scientifically verified technology. Now consider the timeline. 1939 marks the beginning of mass media's global reach. Radio broadcasts standardized to 440 Hz. Later, television, movies, digital media, everything follows the same frequency standard. For over 80 years, every piece of audio content you've consumed has been tuned to a frequency that disrupts the natural geometric harmonics your consciousness is designed to resonate with.
This video isn't meant to encourage you to completely avoid music. but rather to raise awareness about the impact of what you listen to. Music can significantly shape your thoughts and emotions, sometimes leading to curses influencing your daily life. In extreme cases, it might even bring about harmful effects for you and your family. I recommend seeking out music that promotes positivity and healthy frequencies. Additionally, take the time to understand the meaning behind the lyrics, as words hold influence and can affect both you and those around you. To view the complete videos, I've included links to each one in the description below. What does Scripture have to say about singing? Sing unto Elohim, sing praises to his name, extol him that rides upon the heavens by his name Yah, and rejoice before him. Psalms 68:4. And when the builders laid the foundation of the temple of Yahweh, they set the priests in their apparel with trumpets, and the Levim, the sons of Asaph, with cymbals, to praise Yahweh, after the ordinance of David king of Yasharal. And they sang together by course in praising and giving thanks unto Yahweh, because he is good, for his mercy endures forever toward Yasharal. And all the people shouted with a great shout, when they praised Yahweh, because the foundation of the house of Yahweh was laid. Ezra 3:10-11. Let the word of Mashiach dwell in you richly in all wisdom, teaching and admonishing one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing with grace in your hearts to Yahweh. And whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of Adonai Yahusha, giving thanks to Elohim and the Father by him. Colossians 3:16-17. Thank you for watching.